Yo, how we doing? I got a great show for you guys today. We got 6 key games. We got to pay for the drinks parlay. We got some games you got to bet on. And of course, we end every episode with some Mikey core. Before we get to that, I will announce the winner of the $200 giveaway live right now. So if you're watching, make sure you DM me on the Twitter sphere. Connor reacts, because his comment was so nice. You're so underrated, bro. Loving the content. Literally on a flight watching. Connor reacts. DM me on Twitter. You won the $200 giveaway, and we're going to do another one on this episode. So comment away for a chance to win $200. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Quick housekeeping before we get to the show. All my NFL stuff is on the Sportsline YouTube and Sportsline Instagram. Make sure you're following, please. We got a great show that drops every Thursday on the Sportsline YouTube, but we've got some college football to talk about, so let's get right to it. Quick recap of last week. We got absolutely rinsed. We had some good spots. We had some bad spots. The Mississippi State wagon might be put to rest, but that's why we have another week of ball, so let's just get right to it. We start with our key games, and I'm going to start with a Friday game, which is, it's a rare around these parts, because if it doesn't hit, that means that everyone that watches this on Saturday morning is going to go, wow, we already started off with a loser, or they're going to go, wow, we already started off with a winner, because Clemson is traveling to Louisville with a 3.5 point spread, and I'm going to take the Clemson Tigers plus 3.5 for no other reason other than I think we just have to ride this journey out with Cade. We took Clemson last weekend in a great spot. They ended up covering and winning. They looked like a different Clemson team. And it was the narrative of Cade Klubnik is crying in the locker room saying this is his last ride, and we're going to ride with an emotional last ride guy who, for all accounts, for the past 3 years, feels like he should have been in New York. He should be a Heisman candidate, and he just hasn't lived up to that potential. But now it kind of feels like I'm catching him on a little bit of a renaissance here. He's realizing the clock is ticking. The rabbit with the clock is saying all roads lead to Rome. And he's starting to play like the guy that I think we said he should be playing like. And now you get to play Louisville, who, by the way, I've said it forever, Miller Moss has a turnover problem. Miller Moss has a turnover problem. So we're taking Clemson plus a 3.5 to go in there. I wouldn't be shocked if Clemson won outright. I don't know why I can't say Clemson. I'm putting like a P on it. Clemson, Clementine. But I'm taking Clemson plus 3.5. I'm also going to sprinkle on their money line. I just think this is a great spot for them. You're getting a renaissance. Dabo saying you can fire me on the field, and then he just keeps winning games. It makes no sense. So we're going with Clemson. Friday game, little sprinkle for you guys. We move to our next key game. The University of Oklahoma is going into Alabama with a 5.5 point spread. What do you do? Now, in the back of my head, I'm struggling with this game. 1, because Alabama's my national champion. 2, because I don't believe that John Mateer's hand is at full health still. I just don't believe it. I also don't believe in Brent Venables. This year has made me sell my stock in Brent Venables and this classic Oklahoma defense that he likes to preach. However, Oklahoma is very good at stopping the run. And the one thing that Alabama cannot do is run the rock. Jam Miller, even when he's healthy, is useless. Not to be rude, useless. And I don't know if Alabama, without a run game, can cover a spread against the University of Oklahoma. However, this is not the same Alabama team that you think they are. This is the Alabama team that after 3 weeks, they had fans saying if they won the lottery, they'd fire the coach. They want Ty Simpson playing in China for the Sharks in Shanghai. This is an Alabama team that went through that 3 weeks and is now, I think, the best team in college football, maybe outside of Texas A&M because they're undefeated. How can you say a team is better than them? This Alabama team is scary. This Alabama team is playing like they have a point to prove. And after the last 3 games that they've played 3 ranked opponents in 4 games. Now you get the University of Oklahoma at home. You get to stay home after last weekend. And now you get I'm not going to say an overrated Oklahoma team, but you get an overrated Oklahoma team with a Brent Venables defense that hasn't been what it should be, like we talk about every single year, and a John Mateer, who I refuse to believe the hand is still healthy, against an Alabama defense that's playing some of the best ball it's played all year, and against a Ty Simpson, who I think should be the front runner for the Heisman right now. I'm going to take Alabama minus the 5.5. I'm going to put my hands in my pockets, and I'm just going to take Alabama minus 5.5. We move to our next key game where I have a lot of thoughts. The University of Texas is traveling into the University of Georgia. Texas fans, cover your ears. I have a few thoughts. This Texas team is one of the most overrated teams in the entire country. There is not a football team that has gotten luckier and that has somehow fallen their way into being the rank that they are and beating the teams that they've beaten. You needed to squeak by Kentucky in overtime. You needed overtime and a kick return to beat Mississippi State, and you almost blew what was a 20-point lead to Vanderbilt. You can't have those 3 games in a row and then go into Georgia and do something. I don't believe in Arch Manning. If he didn't have the special teams and the defense, this Texas team, I think, would have 2 wins, and it'd be UTEP and San Jose State. So now you're telling me I get Georgia under a touchdown playing Texas in their own house? That feels disrespectful to the University of Georgia and what the University of Georgia has been doing this year. And I don't believe in Gunnar Stockton either. We talked about it last episode. I feel like I still haven't seen it from Gunnar Stockton. But I'll tell you what. You get a crazy white boy named Gunnar who just doesn't mind putting his head down and getting a couple yards as less than a touchdown favorite against Arch Manning. I'm taking Gunnar Stockton every single time. Georgia minus 6.5 might be whale of the year. Nuke of the night. I cannot fathom a world in which Arch Manning goes into Georgia playing Kirby Smart and does anything. Genuinely. Does anything. I genuinely does anything. I just cannot fathom or see a world in which he does anything. And Georgia, this defense is going to punch you in the mouth. This offense, when it's rolling, it can roll. And I just think this is going to be the perfect night game in Georgia. Arch Manning's drawers are going to be full of doo-doo. And what is Gunnar Stockton doing? He's keeping the ball again, and he just ran over a Texas linebacker for a first down. And it's clear eye vision. It's clear eye vision. You cannot lose to Florida, barely win the Red River rivalry because of a kick return, go to overtime with Kentucky, have a kick return, and then have to go to overtime with Mississippi State, almost blow a 20-point lead to Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt at home, and then go to Georgia and do anything. I refuse to believe it. Georgia minus 6.5. Move to our next key game where Georgia Tech is taking on Boston College. Georgia Tech is coming off a loss, off a bye, and Boston College, unfortunately, you're walking into a buzzsaw. So Boston College fans, do me a favor, maybe try to fire up some basketball. Maybe see if the basketball team is playing on Saturday. Maybe go out on the town in Boston. It's not too cold yet. Maybe, throw on the Gonya sweater. Take your girlfriend out in Boston. Go have some fun. Maybe go hit the river because this one's going to get out of hand for you. Don't go to this game. Don't waste a Saturday of your college experience going to this game where Georgia Tech is not only going to cover minus 16.5, they're going to score 50 points. Because now Georgia Tech needs style points after their first loss. And unfortunately, Boston College, you're the beginning of the book that Georgia Tech's about to write on why they need to be in the college football playoff. And the first chapter is never nice. It's never an easy read, and it always sucks. But, if you're a Boston College fan, thorns and roses, you could take a Saturday off. You could go to the bars and not care about it. Maybe the Celtics are playing. You get the Patriots on Thursday night. They're going to beat up on my Jets. So you can have a win going in to Saturday where you say, I don't even care about it. Maybe the chess team's firing up a game on Saturday. Just don't watch this game. Please, Boston College, don't watch this game. Move to our next key game where the University of Iowa is taking on USC. I'm taking USC minus 6.5 for a simple reason that Iowa could not beat one of the most injured Oregon teams of all time at home in the snow. If there was a game where you went, hey, Mike, how can Iowa beat Oregon? I'd go, okay. Oregon's going to have to lose one of their best players right before kick. DeCorian Moore out. Check that box. It's going to have to be some of the most disgusting weather of all time. Potential maybe some snow. Check that box. And then I would have said they're just going to have to run the ball and hope that the other team also wants to run the ball. Check that box, and they still lost that game. So now you got to get on an airplane, fly to Southern California, and you got to play Lincoln Riley, who may or may not be playing for a new job. There's a lot of new openings. And Lincoln Riley might be licking chops going, you're telling me if I can close this year out right with USC, maybe Baton Rouge hits my line? Maybe Penn State hits my line? And I get infinite NIL and one of the biggest college brands? So now I've built this narrative in my head that Lincoln Riley's playing for a new job and he's just going to try to demoralize and demolish every team he plays in front of him now. So I'm taking USC minus 6.5 because one, Iowa couldn't beat Oregon in literally the 1s and 2s. It's like if you were playing your buddy in college football and he was Oregon and you were Iowa and you were like, all right, but I get to change the weather and you can't play with Torian Moore. And he still lost. You'd be like, dude, you suck at the game. So now you have to play USC and Jaden Mayava, and I think it's going to get really bad for them. So USC minus 6.5. Our next key game and our last key game on the slate, the University of Utah going to Baylor with an 8.5 point spread. I'm taking Baylor plus the 8.5 for the simple reason that there is no better experience. And I challenge you to do this. You don't even have to bet on him if you want. Maybe just take his player prop passing yards. There is no better experience for the college football fan than waking up on a Saturday, tuning into a Baylor football game, and watching Sawyer Robertson throw for 400 yards because he does it every weekend. And they might lose by 30. Keep that in mind. I've watched games where Sawyer Robertson has thrown for 426 yards and they've lost by 15. It's the most insane thing you've ever seen in your entire life, but it happens every single weekend. So I challenge you, if you're a big college football fan, just tune into a Sawyer Robertson game. And now you can hold 8.5 points in your pocket against a Utah team that likes to make things gritty. And Baylor's going to come out and go, well, we don't play real football. We're just going to throw the ball 70 times and get Sawyer Robertson 3 touchdowns and 700 yards. And it'll happen. Will they cover the spread? I'm going to bet on that they will. But there's a chance where you wake up on Saturday, you're watching the game, you go, oh my God, Sawyer Robertson has 450 yards and it's 20-3. That's a real possibility. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. That might happen. However, I can't pass up on opportunities to watch Sawyer Robertson throw the ball 50 plus times. So I will not be doing that. Those are the key games. We move to our next segment, which is games I'm going to have money on no matter what you do. You can cut my legs out from under me. You can call me an idiot. You can tell me that they're not going to hit, but I got news for you. I'm going to have money on them either way. So you should too. Get in my trench. So when I blow the whistles, oh, that was horrible. We can all go over the top. Why did I go with the brrr, we can all go over the top. Get in my trench and let's storm the beaches. Here we go. Arizona going into Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati minus 6.5. If you can lose to Jalen Daniels, and listen, we love Jalen Daniels in these parts. I'm a Jalen Daniels truther. However, when you lose to Jalen Daniels, that tells me that every team in the country can beat you and cover a spread against you. So Arizona, unfortunately, you fit the bill. And we're taking Cincinnati minus 6.5. Brendan Sorsby. We just talked about Sawyer Robertson, another electric piece in the Big 12. Brendan Sorsby. He's going to do really, really, really bad things to Arizona. Cincinnati minus 6.5. Wisconsin playing Indiana. I got this play from the guy Jonathan in my office. He's the GOAT. Indiana first half minus 16.5. Might be senior night. You just got in a really close game with Penn State. Now you have Wisconsin coming into the crib. If you guys remember, I've been to a Wisconsin game. That team is really, really bad at football. And now you get Indiana with just statement punch you in the mouth game. First half minus 16.5. I'm not touching a 30-point spread full game because you never know. Wisconsin just won their first game. They scored a touchdown. Everyone's going, oh my God, Wisconsin might be back. And now you got to go to Indiana and get absolutely melted. Virginia going into Duke. Duke is minus 6.5. The entire Virginia football team better be injured. The entire Virginia football team better be injured. And what I'm going to bet on this game is I'm not. I can hear you guys through the screen yelling at me. I can hear you guys through the screen yelling at me saying we can't do the Duke shit anymore. So you know what? We're not doing the Duke shit anymore. Hand up. Accountability. We're not betting on them. UNC going into Wake Forest. The play is simple. Robbie Ashford. And you knew it was coming. I don't know. You're sitting there at home, on the phone, on the TV, on the laptop, on the tablet. Close that one tab before your girlfriend walks in. And listen, it's Wake minus 6.5, Robbie Ashford. Wake minus 6.5, Robbie Ashford. Wake minus 6.5, Robbie Ashford. Okay, let's move. Mississippi State going into Mizzou. I knew you guys thought I forgot. I knew you thought I forgot. How could I forget? How will they know? How could I forget? And how would they know? Mississippi State plus 7.5 playing Mizzou. It's just, I got to do it. I could sit up here and give you the ones and twos, tell you about Blake Shapen and Fluff Bothwell once again. I could tell you why they're my favorite team in college football. I could tell you how they win this game outright, how they're going to play the game, where I think the advantage is, and why I'm taking. But you know the real reason. They're my wagon. And when I get hyper-fixated on a wagon, I have to hyper-fixate on the wagon. And unfortunately, Mississippi State plus 7.5 is the hyper-fixation wagon of this year. They're a spread covering machine. Did they get punched in the mouth last weekend playing Georgia? Yeah. Did I say that was my favorite? Yeah. Well, it was, all those things were said. Mississippi State plus 7.5 is literally one of my favorite plays of the entire weekend because they're just my wagon, and I'm not going to apologize for that. So you guys can kick rocks, okay? NC State going into Miami, our last game of the weekend. NC State going into Miami, taking Miami. That NC State defense is just a glorified piece of Swiss cheese. And Miami, you got to really finish out and build the resume to make the ACC championship game to then have a chance at making the playoff. So I'm going to take Miami minus 14.5 here. Our last game of the weekend, Arkansas traveling into LSU. A limping LSU. We took Alabama to work LSU last weekend. It wasn't working, but they covered the spread. LSU's dead. They're limping. They're dead. They're limping. They're dead. They're limping. They're dead. And I'm going to take Arkansas plus 6.5. I don't know what else you want from me. I'm taking Arkansas plus 6.5. They're limping. They're dead. It's a trophy game. They're playing for the boot. And I think Arkansas just comes into this game going, we want the boot. Give us the boot. Give us the boot. It's a give us the boot play, Arkansas plus 6.5. All right, it's time now for our pay for the drinks parlay. It's the parlay that you have to ride. Okay, just do me a favor. If you're watching the episode, just ride the parlay, please. Please ride the parlay. Please. The parlay this weekend, I cooked it with that guy Jonathan I said that I work with. Plus 344. A true pay for the drinks parlay. First leg, Georgia money line. If I'm going to stand up here and call Texas fraudulent every single time that they play football, and then we have a chance to take a Georgia money line at a minus 200 for a parlay piece, and I didn't take it, I'd call myself a coward. Georgia money line. USC minus 5.5. The way I talk through this game, hopefully you guys understand how confident I am in this play, and I'm just going to buy it down to 5.5 just in case it's a 2 field goal game, which means that USC just won by 3. We move. Georgia Tech team total over 37.5. You just lost your first game. You're coming off a bye, and you're getting the worst team in college football. If Georgia Tech doesn't put up 40 plus, I'll be in shambles. The last 6 matchups, I believe Boston College has let up 37 or more in like 5 of the last 6. So I'm going to take Georgia Tech's team total over 37.5. Plus 344. Georgia money line, USC minus 5.5. Georgia Tech team total over 37.5. That's your pay for the drinks parlay. Move to some Mikey core. Oh, man. I don't have anything prepared today, so I guess we're going to talk off the dome again. Hopefully the camera doesn't die. This is what I'm going to say today. No one has ever walked in your shoes, and no one is ever going to be able to tell your story better than you. And I think a lot of the times we allow people outside ourselves to determine how we feel about what we're doing and feel about ourselves and feel about our story and the progress we've made or the things that we've gone through. And I think something I'm just trying to internalize is that your journey is your journey. It's not anyone else's journey, and it's not anyone else's right to tell you how you should have handled things or how your journey is going. And I think it's tough because we lean on our friends a lot for advice, and we lean on the people around us for advice. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for how far we've come. I think that's something that I've been struggling with as well. You know, moved my life to Florida, starting a really cool job. It's all been great. But again, it's like that feeling of, I thought if I got here, I'd be happy. And I thought if I got here, I'd be happy. And if I thought I got here, I'd be happy. And you realize that these accomplishments aren't what's going to make you happy. It's the process that's going to make you happy. And it's being okay with yourself and where you're at that's going to make you happy. And I think that's something that I'm really trying to internalize and not so much worry about the mountaintop. And I think, you know, some really good advice I got is if you focus on the mountaintop the whole time, you're going to trip and fall over the steps in front of you. And when you finally reach that mountaintop, you're going to realize there's another mountain right after it. And when you look back, you're going to realize again that you wasted all that time not enjoying the process of getting to that mountaintop. And I think that's something that I'm trying to take very seriously in this phase of my life. Enjoy the process. Slow down. Enjoy your story. It's your story. It's your journey. I know life can feel impossible sometimes. It can feel so, so difficult. But put your back against the wall sometimes and make yourself step forward. Because it can feel hard. It can be hard, and I know that. And if it feels hard right now for you, and it is hard for right now for you in this life, just keep going. Just keep going. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe, comment for a chance to win the giveaway, and hopefully you guys have been loving these episodes. Share with a friend. Thanks, guys. We'll see you here next week.